The Nevada desert at night is a special kind of lonely. Just you, the hum of the engine, and a ribbon of asphalt stretching into an ink-black infinity. For hours, I hadn't seen another soul, just the occasional jackrabbit caught in my high beams. My name's Michael, and I was making the long haul from Reno to a small town just over the Utah border, a family thing. I was tired, my eyes gritty from staring at the road, and my mind was starting to wander into that weird, sleep-deprived space where shadows play tricks on you. Up ahead, a flicker of orange light broke the monotony. An electronic highway sign. Usually, they flash amber alerts or warnings about roadwork. But as I got closer, the message resolved into something else. Something that made the hairs on my arms stand up. 4 words, stark and digital. Turn around, Michael. My foot instinctively eased off the gas. Michael, my name. How it had to be a prank. Some kids with a laptop hacking the highway system. That had to be it. I shook my head, a nervous laugh escaping my lips. It was just a stupid, elaborate prank. But the desert suddenly felt a lot colder, a lot more hostile. I glanced in my rearview mirror, a habit from years of driving. 2 pinpricks of light appeared far behind me. Headlights, a surge of relief washed over me. Another car. I wasn't completely alone out here. Maybe they saw the sign too. I could pull over, have a laugh about it with a fellow traveler. But when I looked back at the road ahead and then into the mirror again, the headlights were closer, much closer. They were gaining on me fast, too fast. A knot of anxiety tightened in my stomach. This wasn't right. I pressed down on the accelerator, my small sedan groaning as it tried to pick up speed. The headlights behind me grew brighter, larger, filling my entire mirror. They were blinding, a ferocious white glare that burned my retinas. The vehicle, whatever it was right on my tail now. I braced for impact, my knuckles white on the steering wheel. Then, just as suddenly as they appeared, they vanished. I blinked, spots dancing in my vision. The mirror showed nothing but the same empty, black road I'd been driving on for hours. My heart hammered against my ribs. What was happening? I was exhausted. That's all. My mind was playing tricks on me. The sign, the lights, it was just fatigue. I decided to pull over at the next rest stop, splash some water on my face, maybe even take a short nap. I just needed to clear my head. A few miles later, a sign for a scenic overlook appeared. Perfect, I signaled, even though there was no one to see it, and turned onto the dusty access road. It led to a small, gravel-covered patch of ground overlooking a vast, moonlit canyon. I killed the engine, and the sudden silence was deafening. I stepped out of the car, the dry desert air cool against my skin. The stars were incredible out here, a brilliant, glittering canopy untouched by city lights. I took a deep breath, trying to calm my racing heart. It was beautiful. It was peaceful. The fear began to recede, replaced by a sense of awe. See, just tired. That's when I heard it. A soft crunch of gravel. Not from where I was standing. It came from the other side of my car. I froze, every muscle tensed. "Hello?" I called out, my voice sounding small and weak in the immense quiet. "Is someone there?" Silence. I slowly backed away from my car, keeping my eyes fixed on the spot where the sound had come from. Nothing, just the dark shape of my sedan against the starlit sky. I told myself it was an animal, a coyote, a desert fox, anything but a person. I fumbled for my phone in my pocket, my fingers clumsy with adrenaline. I just needed a flashlight. I turned it on, the bright beam cutting through the darkness. I swept the light around the car. Nothing. I pointed it towards the edge of the overlook, across the gravel. Still nothing. I let out a shaky breath. I was losing my mind. I turned to get back in my car, and that's when my phone's light caught it. Scratched into the dust on my passenger side door were 2 words: "Turn around." Panic, pure and undiluted, seized me. I scrambling into the driver's seat, fumbling with the keys. The engine roared to life. I slammed the car into reverse, gravel spitting from under the tires, and spun the wheel, not even caring where I was going. I just had to get back on the main road. I had to get away. As my headlights swung across the overlook, they illuminated a figure standing at the very edge of the canyon. It was tall and impossibly thin, a silhouette against the stars. It wasn't moving. It was just watching me. My blood ran cold. I didn't wait to get a better look. I floored it, tires squealing as I swerved back onto the highway. I drove like a madman, my eyes darting between the road ahead and the rearview mirror, empty. The road behind me was still terrifyingly, unnaturally empty. My phone buzzed on the passenger seat. A notification. I risked a glance. It was a news alert. Widespread power outages affecting highway infrastructure across rural Nevada. Electronic signs may display garbled or random messages. A wave of dizzying relief washed over me. It was a power surge, a glitch. The sign was a fluke. The name, my name. A 1-in-a-million coincidence. The figure at the overlook, a trick of the light, a strangely shaped cactus, my exhausted mind filling in the blanks. The scratching on my car, I probably did it myself, with the keys in my panic, and didn't even realize it all had a logical explanation. I laughed, a ragged, hysterical sound. I was an idiot, a tired, paranoid idiot spooked by a technical error. I felt the tension drain out of my shoulders. I was safe. It was all in my head. I kept driving, the miles melting away. The sun would be up in a couple of hours. I just had to make it till dawn. My phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't a notification. The screen lit up with an incoming call. The caller ID was just a string of zeros. I ignored it. It buzzed again and again. Annoyed, I reached over and hit the answer button, intending to tell whoever it was to get lost. I put it on speaker. "Hello," I said, my voice sharp with irritation. For a moment, there was only static. Then a voice came through the speaker. It was a dry, rasping whisper, like sand blowing across stone, and it said one word: Michael. I slammed on the brakes. The car screeched to a halt in the middle of the empty highway. The voice. I knew that voice. It was the voice from my nightmares, the one that had haunted me since I was a child. The voice of the man I saw in my closet. The man my parents swore was never there. The man I'd spent 20 years in therapy trying to forget. The call ended. The silence that followed was worse than the voice itself. And then my car radio, which had been off the entire time, crackled to life. It wasn't music. It was the same static from the phone call, and through the static, that same dry, whispering voice began to speak. It didn't yell, it didn't threaten, it just talked. It told me things about myself. It described the scar on my left knee from when I fell off my bike at age 7. It mentioned the name of my first pet, a golden retriever named Buddy. It hummed the lullaby my mother used to sing to me, a tune I hadn't heard in 30 years. It knew everything. Then the voice changed. It said, "You shouldn't have left, Michael. Your family is waiting. My family. The reason for this whole trip, my brother, his wife, their kids. I was going to see them." A cold dread, colder than anything I had felt before, crept up my spine. "What did you do?" I whispered, my voice trembling. The whispering voice chuckled, a sound like cracking bones. "I told you to turn around, Michael. You should have listened." The radio clicked off. The dashboard lights flickered and died. The engine sputtered and went silent. I was plunged into absolute darkness and silence, stranded in the middle of the Nevada desert, and through my windshield, far down the road, I saw a flicker of orange light. It was another highway sign coming to life in the distance. The letters began to form, a new message just for me. It said, "Too late," and in my rearview mirror, 2 pinpricks of light appeared, and this time I knew they wouldn't disappear. They were coming for me, and there was nowhere left to run. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content. Stay safe out there.